Hi, this is Gabe Brown with lab number 7, focusing on the forcing Git to overwrite local files on pool. So sometimes what we've run into challenges is when I'm working on my project, I have some local changes that maybe I was just making some notes or I was adding some comments, and I'm pulling down the change and it looks like the remote repository I'm pulling from, someone has touched that same piece. And I may not always care about losing those changes. So I'm going to walk you guys through an example. So we're doing similar to what we did in the prior labs, where the first tab here is simulating user 1, and the second tab here is simulating user 2. So I'm going to push a change, and we're going to blow out the change on the other side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up Sublime Text here, and you can see from my prior labs I do have this file here showing that I made a change. So this is the change from user 1. So this is a change from my user 1 account, and so I save this, and in this account you can see that that file's been modified, and we can see this is change made from user 1, recognizes those changes. So now what I'm going to do is on my second user, so if we look at that README file, so this is simulating a different user, I haven't made that change on this folder yet, you can see it's the original change there, so we both started with the same repository. I made a change. So I'm going to use my favorite text editor in the console called Nano. And in Nano, I'm going to change this to, I made a change from user 2. Okay. So yes, so I went ahead and I pressed Control X, Control S, and so this is going to save my changes. So I write the file, and if we less the README file, you can see it says I made a change from user 2. So now I have my local change, and you can see Git status, you can see that file's modified. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit this change and say updated the README file as user 1. So I'm going to press enter. So this is pushing the README file to my local repository in development, and I'm going to push this using a git push command and send it up to GitHub. So now the change is pushed. So let's look at it from user 2's perspective. So now that change has been made, and in the file we can see it was made as user 1, I'm going to type a git fetch all. So this is telling us that we need to fetch all available branches that are up there, including ones that we may not track. So I'm going to run the fetch, and we can see that it found the change from development. So now I'm going to type git reset hard origin development. So because we're tracking the development branch here, we want to tell the repository, so get reset, saying I want to reset the state of my repository. And hard as a reset generally means that I want to override my current state of my repository and with whatever that origin development says there. And so that's you don't usually want to use hard unless you absolutely have to. So any of your working changes, so if you have anything that you want to save in your repository, do not run this command until you've committed your repository or committed your changes, because it will blow out your changes. So you can see the README file there. So before we do this, we'll take a look at our README file, and it says, see, I made a change as user 2. Now we're going to run this command, get reset hard origin development. This is going to blow out my local changes and now update my README file as what was originally in the repository. So if we look at this, you can see this now says this change was from user 1. It blew away my local changes and replaced it with what was on the local file system, even though it was changed. And that's how to overwrite your local with whatever's remote.